Hello, everybody. My name is Ruham Manzoor, and I'm the managing partner of Maces. Today, I'm here to share with you, one of the many partners that we work with, and one of my personal favorites. We are here to talk about Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, which is located in Beppu City, Japan. And hands down, one of my favorite destinations. And so we will basically cover why study in Japan in general, because অনেক সময় যেটা হয় যে people are often they're not aware of Japan as a study destination. Certainly, when before I started working with Japan, আমার কোনো আইডিয়াই ছিল না যে কেন মানুষ জাপানে পড়তে যাবে মানে people go to Canada, UK, USA, Australia, all the English speaking countries. Why is Japan even a destination? So I'll cover that a little bit. More importantly, we will cover Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, or APU as I like to call it. APU হচ্ছে আমাদের সবচেয়ে পুরনো পার্টনার জাপানে, and এটার একটা মজার হিস্ট্রি আছে জাপানে. Population is going down. It's coming down, and they want international students to come in and be trained in the Japanese culture and the Japanese language and all of that. But at the same time, they want their Japanese students to have a multicultural life. So APU was established as a beautiful multicultural destination university, and I'll go into the details about that. And after that, actually, a lot of universities opened up with the same kind of model. So they're Kimbodonti bola chole arki, one of the pioneers of the global university movement in Japan. So first of all, let's talk about why would anybody study in Japan? So Japan is actually, oneke jane na, it's one of the most cost-effective educations in the world. In any developed country. For example, the average tuition fee that students pay is about 10,000 or 10 lakh takar moto. It's about $12,000. However, nobody pays that. So that's a full tuition fee, and students get some form of scholarship, and we'll get into that. The second thing is they have the highest number of scholarships for international students. In fact, most of our students get between 30 to 100% scholarship when they study in Japan. Easy to get work permits after graduation. Getting work permit is very easy. Getting PR is very easy. And getting citizenship also is very easy. This is one thing that many people don't know. You can actually get citizenship in Japan now. Highest number of job opportunities for graduates. So because they don't have as many Japanese people, and they're getting older, young people are not there to take up the jobs that old people after retiring are leaving. So ei karone there's a lot of job opportunities that are available. They have the highest number of Nobel Prize winners out in Asia. So that kind of gives you an idea of the quality of education. The quality of education in Japan is very, very strong. If you're going to study in Asia, there's no other place that has that much. Yes, it's the strongest education in USA. In Asia. It is also one of the safest countries in the world. So this is one thing. Amader onek parentrai they're scared to send their kids abroad. They're scared to send their daughters abroad. It might not be safe. They have strong supervision and all that. So Japan is one of the safest countries in the world. In fact, you can actually, I have many, many students who have lost their wallet in public places, and they got it back with the money intact. So that is, something great. Not many countries can boast something like that. The other thing is they have the highest standard of education in Asia, which I guess I covered that a little bit, right? In Asia. Not only that, they're the third largest economy in the world. So, a lot of people look down on Asian countries that, I want to go to a developed country. Well, this is the third largest economy in the world. So, you're not missing out at all. It's one of the most technologically advanced countries as well. The Japanese bullet train, we've all heard and seen. You can set your time with the way the Japanese train goes. So that's amazing. And despite all of that development and advancement, it has one of the most richest cultures and traditions. So আমরা বাংলাদেশে যেরকম সিনিয়র জুনিয়র এই জিনিসটা মেইনটেইন করতে পছন্দ করি, কিছু ট্রেডিশন রাখতে পছন্দ করি. Japan is also very traditional in that sense. So there are rules and regulations, and I think that's a very endearing thing. I mean, if your parents are scared that their children will lose the culture and all that, it's not like that in Japan. And it's also very, very friendly and helpful. People are really friendly, really helpful. And the final thing I must say, Bangladeshi, one of the biggest thing is they're scared whether they're going to get the visa or not, right? Visa is a very important part of the application process, because বাইরে পড়তে গেলে তো visa লাগবে. Now, in traditional countries like US, but Canada, the visa is highly subjective. You don't know whether you're going to get the visa or not. You have to show tax documents, অনেক সময় tax income দেখানো থাকে না. So অনেক রকমের বাধা বিপত্তি ফেস করে মানুষজনের visa rejection হয়ে যায়. জাপানের ক্ষেত্রে I must say, knock on wood, we've never had a visa rejection. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing about Japan. So visa success rate is very high. The other thing is, so now we're going to talk about APU. The main motto of APU is shape your world. So they're there to shape people's world, to give them a new thought process. And boy, I mean, I have more than 200 students there. They really, they're a testament to how they've changed and all that. So it is wonderful. This is a quick sort of video that I wanted to show about the campus of APU. So you can see here, I will stop from time to time and show you things. So, when you come in through the APU gates, this is the main area. And so this is the administrative building. This is the faculty building, as you can see from there. And, you enter the faculty into this beautiful courtyard and waterfall. There are about 6,000 students in APU, and 50% of them are international. Another interesting thing about APU is the food vendors. So on campus, you don't have to leave the campus to get food. Every Sunday, I think, I might be wrong. If there is an APU student, they can correct me. So there's food vendors that come on campus and sell you things like rice, vegetable, meat. If you want to do your own cooking in the dorms, you can fully do that. But then there is also the cafeteria, where there are like so many different food items. Specifically, if you're into halal food, there are so many different halal options. You're not gonna starve, believe me. And it's pretty reasonably priced as well. The classrooms are, you can see on the right side. So that's the classroom block that goes into the library, and we'll get to that. So there's a big football field, and again, you can see here, the auditorium is right here. That's where the big events take place on campus. There is a big gymnasium, student union. That's where students hang out. I guess there are pool tables and things like that. And towards the end, there's the dormitory. You can see right out in the bay, in the dorms. So, students have to stay during their first year, sometimes even second year. They get to stay in the beautiful dorms, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. On the other side of the campus, there is the library. Oh, so countries represented. There are more than 92 countries represented in APU, right? So you will be in a truly multicultural environment. So on the other side, you can see that on the far end, there is a grad school. So you want to kick the graduate school aside. The undergraduates need to have their own fun. Grad schools are separate. And then there, of course, there is the library in the middle, where you can have pretty much anything you want, videos, books, and whatever. You can have access to that. in the library. And you can see in the far out in the distance, there is Beppu City. So that's the main city. A lot of students stay down there. It's a 10-15 minute bus ride, which really just comes on campus. And that's the Beppu Bay. Oh, there are some tennis courts as well. So you can see that there is, the bus stops right there. That's a quick tour of the campus. It's really beautiful, fully decked out campus that you can take advantage of. Now we come to, again, we got into it a little bit. So why APU, right? So there's, first of all, again, it's one of the first truly, the number one university in Japan for full-time undergraduate students. So it's one of the Japan's top global universities. The courses, specifically the business courses, are all AACSB accredited, which means your degree is pretty much valued worldwide, right? So no matter where you go, your degree has the value. 50% of the students are international, and 92 countries are represented. So, I was one of my students was mentioning that, if he looks into his phone, there's friends from 60 different countries. So no matter where he visits, he has an access there. The other thing is more than 147 countries and regions are represented by alumni. So pretty much every country is represented. And the best thing about APU is 97% of the students who graduate get jobs before they graduate. That is a phenomenal number, which basically tells me that if you want a job and you have graduated from APU, you will get a job. As long as you're interviewing, you will get a job, okay? So that's a great thing. For undergraduate, there are primarily two major streams. So there's the School of, College of International Management, which is the BBA degree. And under the BBA, there is accounting and finance, strategic management and organization, marketing, and then there's innovation and economics. So those are the streams on the business side. On the social studies side, there is environment and development. So this is also very interesting. The courses are designed like liberal arts college in the US. So the US liberal arts college system is one of the most expensive and exclusive, education systems in the world, featured by, small class sizes where students really, truly get to develop themselves or find out about themselves. So environment and development is basically a spin on the traditional environment from a development component. Then there is culture, society, and media. So basically mass communication, media studies, all of that, hospitality and tourism. And then there is international relations and peace studies. So, very, very interesting major. They have a very multicultural, cooperative learning environment, very interactive classes. So this is also very important. Students are forced to form groups and interact with students from different countries so that they get to fight with them, learn with them, and grow with them, so that makes them truly international. There's a lot of independent projects and things that they have to do. আরেকটা মজার জিনিস এপিউতে, they have more than 138 overseas exchange partners. So students can actually go to one of those partners in 39 countries and spend a semester or a year of their studies. For example, there's Simon Fraser University, University of British Columbia, HEC, York, Waterloo. So quite a few universities, for example, in Canada, in UK, there is Westminster, in Australia, there's Macquarie, Australian National University. There's quite a few universities there. We can give you a full list. So you can, if you get a scholarship at APU, you can continue to get that scholarship while you study in those universities. So for example, if you couldn't study in Canada because it was so expensive, through the APU scholarship, you can spend a year at one of your favorite universities at a fraction of the cost. Now, one of the reasons that they have 97% job placement rate is more than 400 companies come on campus to recruit students, right? So that is amazing. I personally, America Boston করেছি, and we used to have job fairs, but nowhere near 400 companies. Maybe 100 companies would come, and we were talking about, we're a big university, and you're talking about 400 plus companies coming on campus to recruit 600, 700 students. That's crazy. And the reason that they love APU students is there is interdisciplinary knowledge. So students don't just study ওদের সাবজেক্টটাই খালি পড়ে যে তা না, they study lots of different subjects. So they become a more of a global player. They have language schools, so they know Bangla. For example, they, you know, if they're from another country, they know that country's language. They know English because they're studying in English. And of course, through the APU program, they learn Japanese. So they're multilingual. They have very good cultural intelligence because they've dealt with so many students. And they're very creative and analytical because, you know, that's how the course is designed. They have good presentation skills. Every single course, there is a presentation. So you're constantly involved in that, and there is high levels of motivation and leadership, which I've seen with my students actually. So all this makes them a very attractive thing for graduates. And where can you find graduates of APU? You'll find them in Apple, Ernst & Young, ADB, Google, Toshiba, name it, and you'll find APU students there. And these are top-notch jobs, okay? I mean, it's not easy to get jobs in these. And of course, some people choose, instead of going to jobs, they might decide to go into higher studies in university for masters. And, you know, there also you have universities like LSE, Yale, UBC, Oxford, University of Tokyo. So all these places, you'll see APU students there as well. So, you know, you end up in some really, really good places. Students' life is very interesting. First of all, let's talk about the campus facility. I mean, of course, this is Japan, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about that. You'll have some of the best facilities that money can buy. You have state-of-the-art facilities. You've seen some of those yourself. And there are two kinds of accommodation. So there's the single accommodation where somebody has, for example, you see there's the bed, the toilet, and everything in one room. And then there's the double accommodation where, you know, you share like, even the double accommodation is basically a single accommodation because you can close the door. You can see these two friends. This is a Japanese student and this is an international student. They live next to each other. When they want privacy, they can just close the door, and most of the time it's encouraged that they interact with each other to learn the language really good. Now, student activities. So there's loads of student activities. There are 140 plus student-led organizations that students can take part in. So this makes it very, very interesting for students. Lots of campus events. There's the country weeks, for example. During the Bangladesh week, the whole campus, there will be different areas where, Bangladeshi cha will be served. There will be Bangladeshi cultural programs. The food, the cafeteria will serve Bangladeshi food. So it's like a really, well thought out thing to make students truly understand about that country and understand about the culture. So this is interesting. So this is the map of Japan, and you see Tokyo is right here in the middle. APU is in Beppu City, which is in 2 hours from Fukuoka in Oita province. So this is where it is. And life in Beppu City is great because Beppu City is a small city where people know each other, so students can get a bite-sized idea of Japan before going out into the mainstream, and it offers less distraction. So the population is 120,000. There are 2,000 hot springs in APU, like in Beppu. So the reason it's really interesting is it's the #1 in Japan and #2 in the world for volume of hot springs, which brings in a lot of tourists. And when tourists come, that means there's hotels and there is part-time jobs, right? So, and the weather is, if you look at the hot months like July, the average temperature is 28 degrees, which is very moderate. And in the winter, which is in January, you'll see the average temperature is about 5 degrees Celsius. So, it's not like, really cold like in Canada. I'm right now in Toronto, and the temperature outside is about minus 15 degrees. So, it gets really, really cold, right? Very moderate temperatures. You can do part-time jobs up to 28 hours during semester, and off semester during breaks, you can work 40 hours or more. The minimum wage is 750 Japanese yen per month per hour, but our students get on average between 800 to 1200 yen. Now, this is really interesting. So HSBC did a survey in 2014, and they compared different, the tuition fee and living expense of different countries as opposed to the salaries they get after graduation. So you can see here, on an average in Australia, you pay $42,000 a year. In Singapore, it's about 39. In US, 36. UK, it's 35. In Canada, it's 29. In APU, in Japan, it's about $22,000. And this is without any scholarship, yeah? And if you look at the salary after graduation, you'll see that in Tokyo, the salary is $46.5 thousand. In New York, it's about $53,000, but in the living cost in New York is way higher, I can tell you, than in Tokyo. Cost of attendance. So, the tuition fee is in taka, approximately 10 lakh taka kore per year. And the living cost is about 6 to 7 lakh taka per year. But again, nobody pays that. You know why? Because there is scholarship. So they get a scholarship of between 30% to 100%. And the scholarships really depend on your academic background, English background, extracurricular activities, how you perform during the interviews, all of those together, that decides on the scholarship. And also the competition, like when you're applying, what was the quality of the other applicants, and all together that decision comes through. So once you when you get the offer, you understand from the very beginning how much scholarship you get. Speaking of scholarships, this is one of my students, Inan, and he had 2 A stars and 6 A's in his O levels, 3 A's in A levels, no SATs, moderate extracurricular activities, and basically he got 100% scholarship in APU. This is another student, Jawab, 2 A stars and 5 A's and 1 B in O levels, ABC in A levels, IELTS score of 8, so very good English. And he got an 80% scholarship from APU. So there are really a lot of different examples, and so many students getting really, really good scholarships. So I wanted to go through them a little bit to give you an idea of the kind of scholarship that can be expected. But more importantly, it's the lifestyle, the kind of experiences that APU provides for its students. And that's what stands out. And this is, I think, Bangladesh Week 2018, where students are getting ready to do their cultural program. So, I have almost come towards the end of the presentation. The application process is basically, first of all, you'll get in touch with us and we will give you all the required documents, the application form, the essays you have to write. We will check it for you, the questionnaire, high school transcript, SATs. If you have it, we recommend that you give it. You can give IELTS or Pearson test of English, and 1 recommendation letter, and passport copy. So once you have all of that together, there's an application fee, and then tuition reduction scholarship application. So, you put that all together, you bring it to us, we will check everything for you, make sure it's right, and then we will make the application for you. So, that's all I had to say about APU. And, I would love to take questions. So, I see that there is a lot of questions in our stream. I'll try to see if I can answer them. So Tasin Hussain has given a question. Hold on, let me just change the stream a little bit. Okay, yes, Tasin Hussain has written a question. I got 2 subjects in A levels and 6 in O levels. Am I eligible for APU? Unfortunately, Tasin, no. So APU, if you're from A-level background, they require 3 subjects, okay? So they used to accept with 2 subjects before, but in 2015, they changed that, and now they require 3 subjects. Having said that, what you can do is, there is an exam called GED. So if you give GED, then you will be able to apply and get offers for APU. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question. There's Ghazi Tamima. She asked about graduate education. I guess she's talking about master's subject. So they have master's subjects for all the subjects that they have undergraduate in. They have research masters for those subjects, and so you have to write a research proposal. Your English score, IELTS needs to be about 6 or 6.5, or Pearson equivalent, and you can apply for those. There is also a really good MBA program, which is AACSB accredited, but for that, you need 3 years of work experience minimum. Now, this is one thing one must know, which is for undergraduate students, before you graduate, you get jobs. Getting jobs is not a problem because you learn the language as part of your degree. But when you're going for your master's studies, remember, you're not learning the language, you're studying in English. And so that makes it, a bit difficult because you might not get a job if you don't understand the language. And so for master students, that is something that's a challenge. But, if you want a great education, a solid master's program from a great university, with scholarship, this is a great option because for masters, if you're accepted, there's a high chance you're going to get 80 to 100% scholarship. Sadia asked, are there any chances of the campus opening for international students by September? The answer, the way you worded it, if you say, are there any chances of the campus opening? Yes, of course there is chances. But will it open? I don't know. So we actually have students who started their studies in September. They did online one semester, but then in January, they all left. We have a lot of students who have actually joined on-campus education even now. So I don't see any reason why in September it will be any different. You should be able to, study on campus in September, and now, of course, there's vaccine. So vaccine is coming and this thing is going down. It seems finally, COVID was like really challenging, but I think it's finally calming down a little bit. And we're seeing some sanity in this respect. I hope that answers that question. What factors are the amount of scholarship based on, Sanjana Shoshi? It's a very good question, Shoshi. And it's $1 million question. There are so many factors, right? So I tried to explain it earlier, but let me do it again. So there is your academic background, your grades, your O-level, A-level results, or SSC, HSC results. Then your English score. So if you score a 7.5, you'll probably get a better scholarship than somebody who just meets the minimum requirement of 6. Your extracurricular activities. So if you have leadership quality, that thing factors in. The third thing is, fourth thing is interview. So APU sometimes interview students, sometimes they don't. For example, I think if you have a good SAT score, they often don't do the interview, but they do take an interview for most students. And if you do well in the interview, that also contributes. What is the, so you have to write essays as part of the application. So the essays are very, very important. So all of those factors together. And the final, and I think there's a little bit of luck involved, because let's say, so APU has staggered deadlines, right? So there's, for the September session, the application opened actually back in October or November, and every month there has been a deadline. So the final deadline, I think, is March 31st. So if you want to apply, I would strongly recommend you get your documents ready, but March 24th, sorry. So you get your documents ready. We will check everything for you. So get them ready by this month so that we can get them ready, we can get them checked and apply before the deadline. And so in that cohort, how many people other than you applied, and what is their quality? So your scholarship will depend a lot on that, because they have a limited number of scholarships that they give out. Mind you, usually if they accept you, they give you some kind of scholarship. So 30% pretty much is guaranteed, if they accept you. But then of course there is a whole range, and you could get denied as well. Another very good question is, when is the deadline for master's application? So normally, again, March 24th is the deadline for application. For masters, maybe it goes into the 31st of March. But again, do reach out to us. There's many ways you can reach out to us. Whoever is seeing this video are on our Facebook page, so you can send us messages here. You can email us at mail@macesbd.com. You can call us at 017-5566-0012. And we will attach you with a counselor who will take you through the application process. So it's very easy. We make it very easy for you. We will check your essay for you. We'll make the application. We'll make sure everything is right. As I said, knock on wood, we've never had a visa rejection for APU. What are the popular courses in APU? So very good question again. There are two major streams. So what I have seen from Bangladesh is the more popular one is business, but the social studies side, I think, is really, really interesting. And actually, a lot of students get jobs easier in that stream, because that also, there's the UN and things like that people can join after graduating from there. So these are all really, really good questions. And I hope we have been able to answer that. So those of you who came in and listened to our presentation, thank you so much. We will try to do more of these events on a regular basis, and go through the whole application process of different countries. Now, I wanted to introduce MACES a little bit. Those of you who don't know, we are an education consultancy firm. We work with more than 200 universities across UK, USA, Canada, Japan, Malaysia, Australia. We don't have any fees for our services, for students who go to our partner universities. And there are so many to choose from. But because we don't charge any fees, we want to make sure you're a genuine student. And we do a little bit of weeding out. We want to make sure that you have the resources that is required for you to study in those destinations. So we make sure that we follow those protocols. Also, apart from that, we have two offices. We have an office in Gulshan, which is in Navana Tower, 9th floor. So it's in Gulshan, one very prominent location. And then there's another office in Dhanmondi. It's in Road 27, house number 39 by B, which is right next to Shopno Departmental Store. So we're very accessible. Our counselors are very experienced. They've all either lived abroad or studied abroad or visited abroad. So they have some kind of an exposure that they can help you with. So please do come in or send us messages. We would love to have you with us. Another question came, is APU accept the other English language tests like TOEIC, TOEFL, Duolingo? Absolutely. So they accept everything. TOEIC, TOEFL, Duolingo, all of these are accepted. I don't know about TOEIC, but TOEFL, Duolingo, absolutely, yes. Can I study English version on the major of Islamic studies, religious studies? Can I change my major in master's? Okay. Tamima, I guess the question is, if you have studied Islamic studies for your master's, can you change your major? Is that the question? I don't know, but if that's the question, then yes, absolutely. So if you have studied religious studies, that's a social studies. So you can study culture, society, and media. You can study Asia Pacific studies. You can study even business if you have worked for more than 3 years. Then you can also study the MBA program. Yeah. So, while we again wait for any more questions to come in, for those who have listened in, thank you so much. As I said, we will try to do more of these. Again, please do reach out to us. If you have any questions, you can always email us, message us on Facebook, and or give us a call. If you go to our MESA's web page, you will see you can search by course names, you can search by university. So we have a lot of partners, so you can search actually, and you can actually fill in an inquiry form through our website, and one of us will give you a call. Also, our counselors are all listed there with their phone numbers and everything. So we will be able to help you with those things. Once again, thank you so much for coming in and listening to us. I hope you got something good out of this program. And of course, this will stay on our page, so you can come back to it later or invite your friends to watch. Please join our community in Facebook. Tell your friends about us. We are trying to be an honest education consultancy firm, and we try to keep your interest in mind when we give you suggestions or something like that. Another question came up, which is, can anyone place an application with their predicted grades or probational certificates? And the answer is yes. So you can apply with your predicted grades. However, remember, for example, if you're applying for September and if you have predicted grades, you must have your final results before September. Okay, so at the time of registration, you're going to need to show your actual grades. So as long as you have that, predicted grades are absolutely fine, just like any other US or Canadian or British universities in the world. Thank you very much once again, and hope to see you again soon.